This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Athletics.
Leaping at the ball, it's gone! A towering drive into center field by Rooker.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
A judgy at blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to right, away back into the second deck.
Bobby Witt Jr. becomes the first shortstop in Major League history to have two 30-30 seasons.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to walk-off dingers to Hall of Fame talk. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Happy July 4th, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A's Cast Live. Obviously, this is always a great day in our sport where baseball takes center stage when our country has its birthday. It is great to always work on 4th of July, and this is going to be a great series we have for you with the San Francisco Giants coming to town. It is going to be a very spirited series over the next couple days, and it's going to be a long homestand here at the ballpark in West Sacramento as the Atlanta Braves will show. The very disappointing Atlanta Braves will be showing up here to West Sac. And then the Toronto Blue Jays, yes, the first place Toronto Blue Jays. And you cannot see what I'm doing if you're watching on A's Cast, watching on YouTube or on X. But if you're just listening on A's Cast or the A's Radio Network, I just want everybody to know I'm looking at a Yankee fan and all the Yankee people trying to say that the Blue Jays aren't a first-place team. Who's in first place in the American League East?
I believe it's the Blue Jays.
And my prediction is that the Rays will overtake all of them. But, yeah, it's going to be a really good series here. Atlanta has they've been a dog with fleas. Like, they got off to a bad start, then they got hot, and then ever since then, they're back to being bad, and a bunch of former A's are going to be coming to town, and they are struggling. So, great homestand here. You're going to have the Giants day off on Monday, then the Braves, and then the Toronto Blue Jays, and then we have the All-Star break. And then we're all going to take a little break. We're going to have a great show for you today. Jacob Wilson, he's the story. There's no other story bigger than Jacob Wilson right now, at least in our little world. He got voted into the All-Star game. No rookie shortstop has ever been voted into the All-Star game. I don't know when All-Star voting started, because years ago there wasn't an All-Star vote, but it is pretty amazing that Jacob Wilson of the Athletics, in our situation, everything that's going on, it's not like we have this massive 60,000 seat ballpark and the fan base is all hyped up. And there will truly admit there's a lot of things going on around here. And it has not been your regular type of season, obviously, with everything's been going on. So for him to be voted into the All-Star game, it meant there's a lot of people who are not A's fans who voted for Jacob Wilson. It just tells you it'd be one thing like if he was Volpe for the Yankees and he got voted in, you wouldn't be shocked, right? You wouldn't be shocked. We're playing at a AAA ballpark in West Sacramento, for God's sakes, and he got voted in. I guarantee you a lot of people, and it's what's great about phones. It's great about technology, MLB Network. Baseball fans have been hit with a hard dose of how good he is over and over and over and over again. Years ago, this wouldn't have happened. Years ago, most games weren't on television. I'm not talking like years and years. I'm like even like when I was growing up, right? You go back into the 90s, these two teams playing today. The A's and the Giants only had so many games locally on in the Bay Area. Now everything is on, everything is seen, and that's what got him in. What he did and his greatness so far is what got him in to the All-Star game. Because years ago, it would have taken a cycle. It would have taken a year or two for people to really figure out, hey, this guy. So that's what I'm saying. With all the things going on with our organization, to have a guy voted into the All-Star game. Well, who was it? Donaldson was the last guy in 2014?
Correct. And the last shortstop was Campy in 1975 to start.
But 2014 was the last time, and that was on the heels of 2 straight postseason appearances. So here you are at a ballpark in West Sacramento, and you're getting voted into the All-Star game. That's a big deal, man. That is a really, really, really big deal. How many rookies in the history of baseball have been voted to be starters?
I'd have to go back and look, but I'm assuming Ichiro probably was the starter in the All-Star game. I'm just looking because he won the MVP.
I hate that. Well, okay, let's take the non-Japanese players out. How many rookies have been voted in to start the All-Star? Well, obviously Cal Ripken wasn't. Now you think of the great players, the great in the history of the game. How many got position players? You'd have to be a position player.
Yeah, I'm trying to see
how many rookies have even been voted in to start in the history of the game?
I'm going to assume the list is small, if many even did it.
It's got to be. It's got to be super, super small. He's just the first shortstop. The overall list has got to be super. I mean,
I tried Googling it, but nothing came up on the top, and I'm not going to do a deep dive while we're on the air.
I never heard of half of these guys.
He's dead. We'll cross him off the list.
Jacob Wilson's one of 4 first-time All-Stars, too. It's Cal Raleigh himself, Ryan O'Hearn, and someone in the national. Pete Crow Armstrong.
Cal Raleigh, who had 2 more home runs than his. I give him 36?
35.
He has 30. He has more home runs at this point right now than he had all of last year.
And he has more home runs than any catcher has ever had going into the All-Star break, and we still have like 10 days left.
It's incredible. And you know what? I just got sucked back into the All-Star game. I've made it a point that we work so much that I need to spend time with my family during the All-Star break, that I have put my phone away wherever we go for the All-Star break, and I'm just all about family and spending time with my kids. I have not watched an All-Star game in years. You can attest to that because we come back and you're like, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'll see the highlights, but I have not actually sat down and watched an All-Star game in years. This will be the first time that I'm going to want to actually watch everybody. Because when I was a kid, that was the best part of the All-Star game. Watching everybody get introduced because you loved all the players. You know, you love baseball so much. The players, it's the greatness. And the game was fantastic. It's been a lot. I'm going to sit down now and I'll have to figure it out because
you only have to watch the first 2 innings or 3 innings. Just watch Jacob get in a bat. Then
I'm gonna want to watch him introduced. And Mark Kotsay is going to. By the way, on the show today, the voice of the Athletics, Ken Korach, is going to be here. Mark Kotsay.
Towny.
Good. What was that, Ken?
That's good stuff, Towny.
Thank you, Ken Korach. And then the Mark Kotsay show at 5:45. Kotsay said, just to let you know, Kotsay said, I think we should have more than one. And you could make a case for Brent Rooker.
Well, selfishly, I'm hoping Rooker gets in so I can finally come true on my hot take.
It's not about you.
So I said selfishly.
Brent Rooker should get into the All-Star game.
I agree.
Brent Rooker, and this is not a homer take. Look at the numbers. How many guys follow up a career year where he got MVP votes? And if the team would have been good, he would have got more MVP votes. But how many guys follow up MVP year the next year with a really good year? I can tell you not a lot. Great ones do. But Brent Rooker is following up last year with another really, really good year. And everything that he's done, from signing the contract extension to the leadership role to really being the guy with all the team meetings and holding this team together when they lost 20-21, Brent Rooker should be in the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think everything he's done.
Not just because of that you want him to be in the All-Star game and home run derby.
I think
what he has done for his career, what he's done this year, he should be in.
It's tough because you have Ryan O'Hearn, you have Ben Rice, who Ben Rice will probably be the other DH, and then Rooker should be.
Is that kind of shady? Hey, how much did Ben Rice? Every single time I look, Ben Rice is
playing a different position. He's playing a different position.
He catches a lot. I mean, how's he getting the DH? I guess that's kind of a murky. That's kind of a murky deal, by the way, because now a lot of teams don't even have a DH. They use the DH role as like a day off for guys to hit.
I think the only real true DH we have in baseball is Towny.
Well, really, Rooker.
Well, both of them, but I'd say Otani clearly is a DH.
Otani's starting to pitch.
Opener, yeah.
So, I mean, Rooker's only played a handful of times in the outfield. He has been a steady
It seems
DH.
like more recently he's played more in the outfield.
He had the one. He was in right.
He was in right in Tampa. Yeah.
He's been in left a couple times. It hasn't. How many times? Look it up. How many times Brent Rooker has been in the outfield? It's not a lot. He has been a true DH. So we'll talk to Jacob Wilson coming up. He's supposed to be here when?
Well, so they asked me if he could do 5:30 now. So I told Korach to come down earlier if he could, so we don't have to bump Korach.
You're gonna bump Ken Korach for Jacob Wilson?
Towny, as you know, Jacob Wilson's an all-star.
I do not care how good this kid is. You do not bump a Hall of Famer.
Well, Korach
also
hasn't.
Something that makes me hot.
He hasn't responded to my text either. So.
All right.
So we'll see. Hopefully Ken comes down.
All right. Also, great news. I'm sorry, and this may not be the most popular thing, but I don't go nuts over these plays of the week, player of the week, player of the month, rookie of the month. These are all things that have been created over the years for really fan excitement. And if your player doesn't win it, does anybody really sit there and go like, hey, who was player of the month last year in May?
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you.
Who was rookie of the month in May last year in the National League? No one knows. No one cares. But for your players, it's a cool thing. Nick Kurtz, we've had the back-to-back rookies of the month. Nick Kurtz is rookie of the month after hitting 264, 926 OPS, 7 home runs, 17 RBIs, 7 walks, 10 extra base hits. Nick Kurtz is showing us he is the real deal. So congratulations to him. That is something that nice for your career, especially to have the league recognize you so early and to have all these young players, because that's going to be one of the main things you're going to see going forward. Now that Zach Geloff is back, and Zach Geloff is going to be playing second base.
Hitting 8th tonight.
One of the things that's going to be a big deal is you look around the diamond, and you're going to have a combination every night probably of A's draft picks in the outfield. So it's going to be Sodi and Butler and Clark and Colby Thomas now. Your infield, most of the time, is going to be Kurtz, Geloff. Did Urias go on the IL?
Yes.
All right, yeah, because running down the line hurt his hammy. You got Wilson at short, and you got Muncy at third. And Andujar's not coming back until Andujar comes back. I mean, that's really what you're going to see. The only 2 position players that are not draft picks that you're looking at are going to be Rooker at DH, and Langoliers behind the dish, obviously came from Atlanta. So, but that is a big deal. Your outfield and the majority of your infield are all guys that you drafted. That's just going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, at one point you could have 8 because if Rooker has a day off and you put Kurtz at DH and you have Colby Thomas playing the outfield, there's your 8. And then maybe down the road when Daniel Susac every day because you could have a full 9 of guys you drafted. So it is really cool to see that that's what's going on with the organization.
I am enjoying everybody's 4th of July outfits today. I wish we could get you on camera right now. I mean, one of the greatest A's 4th of July, red, white, and blue shirts, but we can't get you on camera. Look at this. Happy 4th. How old is that?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? You just had that made? It looks like it's from the 70s. I mean, some of the stuff that Delaire, our boss today, had the red, white, and blue Vans on today.
Vans checkerboards, yeah.
I mean, the 4th of July, one thing that I've been asking, by the way, what are we going to do about Korach?
He still hasn't responded. I don't know.
We'll call him.
Well, I'll tell him. I think Mike or Kyle's up there. I'll tell Kyle to check with him.
All right. What? Yeah, this is the big leagues, Ken. You got to make adjustments. The one thing that I always like getting into, and we haven't even mentioned, by the way, the San Francisco Giants are here. So this is going to be a spirited 3 days. Our old nemesis is on the mound. Did you put old man Verlander's numbers against us?
Yeah, it's on there.
All right. 30 career games, 17-8, a 2.64 ERA. Postseason, 5 games, 4-0 with a 1.24 ERA. I want to put it on his ass today, and excuse my language, but I want to put it on Verlander's ass today. Old man Verlander hasn't got a win yet. I would love to knock
13
him
starts
out.
without a win.
I would love to knock him out early just to take Verlander down.
He's still
Don't
sitting
worry,
like,
nobody's listening anyway.
I think he's sitting like 38 games away from 300 still. I mean, because he's gone 13 straight winless starts with the Giants. So, yeah, get it to him. Because he pitched against, he faced us in San Francisco. He only went like 3 2/3, so it wasn't a deep outing for old Verlander.
Yeah, he was taken out early.
But he made his debut 20 years ago on this date against the then Cleveland Indians. So that's what Verlander did 20 years ago. So
What team
Knock
do you play
him-
for, Jay? The Indians?
Here in Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
Michael, you're getting a little aggressive. I cannot wait. Knock him out early tonight.
their bullpen hasn't been great lately either.
Oh, nothing has been great. Every time you look at, so when we do the show over at NBC, I have to live around all these Giants people, and they've been their daubers have been down. Giants baseball has not been going very well. I mean, you look at it; they were so far over 500. Now they got the win yesterday in Arizona, but they're 47-42. I was leaving the studio in San Francisco the other day. They're up 2-0. Get home, they lose 8-2. They can't score. Devers has been a train wreck.
He has not been good for. I think they had like the least amount of home runs since Devers got acquired.
Dude, how many times has he struck out, Devers?
A lot. It was like at one point it was like 25 strikeouts in 15 games or something like that. It was really bad.
Yeah, so once again, being at NBC, their games are on. I heard how much he's pressing since he's come over.
I've heard people say that Jung-Hoo Lee should get sent down because how bad he's been playing. I'm sorry, I'm not grinding Giants baseball games. But
it sounds like it. Go ahead.
Remember how Jung-Hoo Lee had the great start to the year? That's really tailed off since April.
Matt Chapman is doing what Matt Chapman does.
Well, he's starting tonight and playing in Sacramento, or playing for the River Cats in Reno.
Not a lot of contact.
Yeah. Strikeouts.
Every once in a while, hit some home runs. So
Willie Adames has not been a good signing so far.
Well, and that's who did we talk to when we were in San Francisco? Who do we have on with the Giants?
The only Giants person we've had on was Contos.
Yeah, we had George Contos. And we were talking about it. The Dodgers have literally made everybody in the West, you either step your game up or you're going to get trounced. You're going to get embarrassed. Like, these teams are acting like everybody wants to act like they're still in it, right? Everybody wants to act like they're in this thing. We're fighting, right? Everybody's showing you bravado. And then all of a sudden, I just go to the standings and I go, San Diego, 9 games back. Dodgers lead San Diego and San Francisco by 9 games. Diamondbacks, when we were in Arizona this year, the Diamondbacks were talking all kinds of noise. You know what the Diamondbacks are back?
12.
12.5. We're just past the halfway point, and LA is already running away with this thing. We can talk. They don't have pitching. They don't have this. Kershaw getting career strikeout number 3,000. But it's just the Dodgers have forced everybody. You're going to have to spend money. You're going to have to make moves. And if you don't, even if you do, but if you don't, you're going to get ran out the building, as they like to say in basketball. I mean, look at the Padres. They've had all this bravado. They're 46-40. It wasn't that long ago they had their fan fest a couple of years ago. We're like, hey, who are we going to face in the World Series? They've never even won the division. The Giants are the only team. When they won that 107 games, it was whatever.
21. They
had a year where it was unbelievable, and then they fell off after that. People got fired. Farhan got fired. Kapler got fired. But other than that, the Dodgers every single year with this division. And these teams all acted like they were going to be in it, and here they are. They are really far back and spending a lot of money to do it.
Yeah, the thing with Kershaw, too, though, that was awesome to see. I mean, he was already going into the Hall of Fame, but him to have the 3,000 strikeouts.
You didn't think he needed 3,000 to –
I think that cemented his Hall of Fame.
You don't have a vote.
I don't. I wish I did, because there'll be guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame that should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, you know what? Let me take that back. You shouldn't have a vote. You are too big of a Hall guy.
But he's only the 5th guy to ever do it, to have 3,000 strikeouts with the same organization. So it's pretty awesome to see him go through that. And
same organization.
Yep.
Got to have 3,000 strikeouts and pitch for the same organization.
We can leave because there's a couple guys on there. There's 2 guys on there to the left. Walter Johnson was one. He stayed. And Bob Gibson.
The Senators.
Bob Gibson stayed.
St. Louis.
Then you got Kershaw.
All right. Who's the other ones?
John Smoltz.
No, Smoltz played for the Red Sox
And the Cardinals. He got his 3,000 strikeout as a Brave. Like, he got 3,000 strikeouts with the Braves. Like, 3,000 as a member. Not like he was there 3,000 for like 2 games.
Well,
like,
you just changed the equation because you're making it sound like
hey, I'm just going off what Hembo said on the podcast
3,000 Ks. Well, then you got to be specific because you're making it seem like it was all with one team.
No, then the other guy was.
Do you see what I'm saying? Smoltz didn't play his whole career.
Yeah, the other guy was
with
Steve,
the Braves.
Steve Carlton was the other guy.
Yeah, Carlton his whole career. Walter Johnson played his whole career with the Senators.
I don't think they didn't really have free agency back then, so
I don't know. I mean,
Bob Gibson was a Cardinal. We know
Bob
that.
Gibson was a Cardinal. Yeah,
Kershaw was
then all
a
of a sudden
Dodger.
you're throwing in Smoltz. I'm like, wait a minute, he played for other teams.
Carlton played for other teams too, didn't he?
No, Carlton was just a.
He wasn't a White Sox or something.
I think Carlton. No, that was Tom Seaver. I think Steve Carlton played his whole career for Philly. Look it up. Carlton never donned another uniform.
Well, he was a Cardinal to start his career, and he was a Giant and an Indian and a Twin and a White Sox.
I remembered him as a Twin. Well, he didn't start with the Phillies. What year was that?
His first year with the Phillies was when he was 27 in 1972. But as a Philly, he did strike out 3,031 batters.
So who did he come up with?
The Cardinals.
What year?
You weren't born yet. That was 1965.
Yeah, oh no, I wasn't even close to it. He got to the Phillies the year I was born.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 3,000 strikeouts with one organization.
Okay, so I get it. So really, the only guys to do it.
Well, Kershaw, Gibson.
Kershaw, as of now, who knows?
Could be a Ranger someday. Who knows?
Kershaw, as of now, Walter Johnson and Bob Gibson are the only guys to do it with one organization. The entirety of their career with one organization.
Yeah, hold on. Then Walter.
That's pretty amazing.
Walter Johnson was a Senator from 1907 to his entire career, all 21 years.
All right, so that's one. Gibson 2.
Kershaw, as of now.
I think that's more impressive.
Yeah.
That you spent your time with one organization and you got 3,000 strikeouts.
And then the other number Hembo threw out there is the number of he has more strikeouts at Dodger Stadium than any pitcher has anywhere else in the history of baseball. And then he has like 1,300 strikeouts.
Is that a big deal?
I don't know. I mean, I guess because he's played with the same team for so long, like obviously Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan, all the guys with a lot of strikeouts.
I mean, if Nolan Ryan stays with the Angels, I mean, he would have.
Yeah, Randy Johnson stay with one team. I mean, like 1,300 strikeouts
By
on
the
a
way,
slider.
that note, did I show you that note where Nolan Ryan threw 200 and something pitches, struck out 19, walked 10, threw over 200 pitches, and then started 3 days later?
No, but that tracks. Yeah, that makes sense.
So if Nolan Ryan stays because not with the Mets, he became Nolan Ryan as an Angel. So if he stayed with the Angels his entire career.
I don't think Korach saw my message because he's here right now.
What are we going to do? You've now triple booked people.
We can bring him on for 4 minutes.
Well, you tell me. You run the show. I'm just a guy that talks. I'm like Elvis. You just shoot me up, put me out there, and tell me to dance.
He likes to use the hand.
Tell me to sing and dance. We will have the great Ken Korach. So we're going to break. So Jacob Wilson's going to join us at 5:30. Things have changed. We're a little programming note. Great to have Ken Korach here, the voice of your A's. Good to have him back. Sorry, Hall of Famer. Jacob Wilson has changed the schedule today, so you go now.
Well, listen, he's worthy of that. He's playing in the All-Star game, you know.
He's just not playing in the All-Star game. He's a rookie who got voted in, and we were trying to figure out because we've made the big deal that he got voted in as a rookie at shortstop. That never happened. Then I'm thinking to myself, how many rookies have ever been voted in at any position?
I don't know. It's worth looking up, and it's the first A's shortstop to start the game in 50 years. It'll be exactly 50 years to the day. Campy Campaneris in 75 in Milwaukee at County Stadium. And there were a bunch of A's that started that game, by the way.
Yeah, they had a nice little run in the early 70s.
If Catfish hadn't left, and we know that, you know, the story with the contract and all that, the rest of those guys were back. I think they likely would have won their 4th straight World Series if Catfish had still been there in 75.
Yeah, because if they stayed healthy with that pitching, the confidence that they had.
Yeah, well, they had Vida started the All-Star game. Gene Santos played first base. Rudy played left. Reggie played right, and Campy was at short. So they had half the team that year in the All-Star game.
It is just, to me, it's mind-blowing to be voted into the All-Star game as a rookie.
Yeah.
And I said, especially with everything, to be honest, what's going on with this organization, it'd be one thing if you're a Yankee and you got voted in, I wouldn't be shocked. But with everything going on here, the fact that a rookie got voted in, it's crazy.
I give the fans a lot of credit for that, for knowing the game.
Baseball fans.
Yeah, absolutely. To think that he, in the first wave of balloting, he had 400,000 more votes, didn't he?
Yeah.
Than Bobby Witt or something
so
ridiculous.
It was at least it was close to 400,000 or 400,000.
And then this was 52 to 48. So people are paying attention. It wasn't just like a beauty contest, which you think about a lot with All-Star balloting, that it was a guy that really deserved it. And it was an upset, but he was deserving. He is deserving.
You looking forward to this weekend? It'll be pretty spirited.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, just spent some time with Bo Mel. I know he's coming up to chat with you tomorrow. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be rowdy.
It will be.
And the weather's absolutely beautiful. It's in the 80s. 4th of July, it's perfect.
And 4th of July and baseball have just been woven together for so many years. And when I think of 4th of July, one of the things I think about is going to the ballpark. Some great memories.
I mean, we've worked all these years. I can't remember last time I had a 4th of July off. We've worked every 4th of July.
I remember doing a minor league game in San Diego in 1981 when there were 40,000 fans at the game at the Murph, your old home.
A minor league game?
Well, I know you've got to get to Jacob. But remember, there was a work stoppage in 81. So there was no Major League Baseball during the summer of 81. And I was working in Rohnert Park. The Angels had their A-ball team there. Padres were in Reno. And they had the idea of taking the two single-A teams and having them go to Southern California and play 2 games. On July 3rd, we played in Anaheim. Ron Romanek was the starting pitcher for the Redwood Pioneers.
This is awesome.
And then on July 4th, we went down to San Diego to the Murph. They set an all-time record for single-A. 40,000 fans.
Wow.
It's incredible. They charged $1 for tickets. They gave away free watermelon, and they had fireworks after the game. And I'm just a rookie broadcaster in single A ball. So that was really an amazing thing.
And now you're a Hall of Famer. By the way, I was thinking
let's
of you.
get to the let's get to the All-Star.
I was thinking of you yesterday. I got in the lab yesterday.
Okay.
I got some stuff for you coming up.
I'm ready for your golf game.
I got some stuff for you, Ken Korach.
Okay.
It is great to have you back. Can't wait to
listen
to you tonight.
Thanks, buddy.
We've missed you.
Thanks.
The great Ken Korach right here on A's Cast and the A's Radio Network. Up next, the All-Star Jacob Wilson right here on A's Cast.
A's Assistant General Manager Billy Owens joined Towny and Shooty on the show and shared his player comparison for Jacob Wilson.
I played against Derek Jeter in the minor leagues. Derek Jeter and Jacob Wilson, they were both the 6th overall pick of the Major League Draft. 6'3", lithe build, going to fill out innate hand-eye coordination, kind of that aw shucks but serious demeanor, focused. I mean, it's a unique skill set, and playing against the captain, Derek Jeter, pretty much his whole minor league career. It was 2 or 3 years, but played against him every step of his journey in the minor leagues, and it's 30 years apart. But I played against one of those guys up close and personal. Saw his father, Jack, play a lot. Jacob Wilson reminds me of Derek Jeter.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
When it comes to knocking it out of the park, nobody beats Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is a 7-time Triple Crown Award winner, Ford Motor Company's highest honor for being the best in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Step up to the plate for our biggest selection of new Ford models, including the legendary F-150, on sale now. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters in the Folsom Auto Mall. FolsomLakeFord.com.
That ball is out of here.
For just $25, fans can sit in the general admission outfield grass for all regular season home games. Tickets for that day's game will open up daily at 9 a.m. for purchase at athletics.com/lawn. Sign up to receive A's alerts to receive a text the first morning of each home series as a reminder. For more information, Visit athletics.com/lawn.
A's closer Mason Miller joined Chris Townsend on A's Cast Live ahead of opening day to discuss the thrill of closing out games for the Athletics.
You always like that juice. I mean, in college, you'd have to go complete games starter to get to it. But, there's nothing that beats that feeling of getting the final out of the game, high-fiving all your teammates and getting into the locker room and win. So, I've liked the big moment. I've liked it. I think I've been able to keep a pretty even head about it, though, and I think that helps me have more success in that role, that I don't get too high or too low. I just know that if I get 3 outs, I got the job done. It doesn't have to be pretty. I don't have to be perfect, but it's you either got it done or you didn't, and I think there's something liberating in that.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
A's Cast Live continues from West Sacramento. Here's Chris Townsend.
Not many people in the history of our game have made it to the All-Star game as a rookie, and really not a lot. We don't even have the list of how many guys have been voted in as a rookie. We know for a fact no rookie shortstop has ever been voted in except this guy, Jacob Wilson, joining us right here on A's Cast. When you hear that, no rookie has ever been voted in to play shortstop at the All-Star game. When you first found out that and you got announced, what were the feelings like?
Oh, I mean, you can't even describe them. They're just, it's everything you've, ever wanted as a baseball player, to be able to hear those words. And, a countless amount of thank yous that, go out to the teammates, coaches, the people that you have in your corner on a daily basis. And, it was a crazy day for me. And, just super grateful, super thankful for this year so far. And, just being able to, really excited to take it in the second half.
We recently just had your father on to talk about you and the first half and everything. And he talked about how he leaves a message for you after most games, if not every single game. You guys talked a lot. What was that first conversation like? Because your dad was an all-star.
Yeah.
I know that means a lot to him in his career. What was that first conversation like with your father about you being in the all-star game?
Yeah, it was super cool. It was a great phone call. It was, it kind of reminded me of when I got called up for my debut. It's one of those phone calls that, you'll remember, for a lifetime. And, he was just like, hey, just enjoy the process, enjoy the entire thing. For the rest of your life, you're going to be able to call yourself, an all-star. That's something that he got to accomplish. And that's something that, I'm also blessed to be able to, say that I got to do in my career. So, those phone calls are always, great to have. I call him every day, every night, and just be able to, after all the, 3-4 months we just played, all the hard work, all the good nights, the bad nights, being able to, call him and tell him that, we're going to the All-Star game it was a pretty special phone call for me, especially.
And you have very high expectations. I think that's something that also sometimes he's got to try and tamper down a little bit, but yeah. I feel like you expect all of this. Like, this is not shocking to you. This is what you expected.
Yeah, no, I definitely try to have high expectations, for myself on a daily basis. And, it's baseball. You're going to have good days, bad days. And, obviously as a player, you're getting a little down on yourself after bad nights. And he does a great job of, telling me all the positives, after games on, there's always something that you do good, throughout, whether it's a good at bat or you play good defense or,
wow, that was close.
A little foul ball. All right. But, no, it's just, it was great. It's great to be able to have him, being able to call me after games and really just take it day by day and enjoy it. It's a great season, great team we have here. So I'm just happy to be a part of it.
The young crew, as you guys like to call yourselves, this young group, what was it like? Because I think everybody's kind of been watching the voting and it was trending that you obviously were going to get it. But once it was officially announced, what was it like with the young crew? What did they say to you?
It was pretty awesome. Just be able to, those are guys that I hang out with every day, even off the field, those are my guys. And, they were, super happy, for me and my family. And, just to be able to talk to them after it all went down was pretty cool to have this conversation. I wouldn't be in the position I am today, without guys like them who who I get to enjoy being at the field with most of all. It's all about being able to enjoy the clubhouse. It's a big part of, this game, like not just on the field stuff, but they do a great job of, helping me enjoy the game off the field.
There was a little incident running down the baseline in New York, and Aaron Judge came over to talk to you and Bobby Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking, most rookies, most veteran-type players, they don't care on other teams, but they've noticed you. While you've been, we don't get to see everything that you do on camera, but have you noticed that the people in the game, especially veteran players or star-like players, have been following and they know what you've been doing this year?
Yeah. They, a lot of those guys, they get at second base, and I get to have a little brief conversation with them, and all these guys are always super cool to me. Being a young guy, you kind of, I wouldn't say grow up, but in high school and college, you watch these young players, come be stars in the game, and then when they get
you
to second
played
base,
him on video games. Let's be honest.
Yeah, seriously, you played them on video games, and then being able to talk to them at second base, and they've always been super cool to me. Like, hey, keep doing your thing. Like, you're doing great. Keep swinging it. Like, it's awesome just to be able to talk to those guys and have those conversations, and just being able to. It's kind of a wow moment for me when those guys get to second base, like Judge, or just big name guys like that come to second base and they talk to me. It's like, all right, this is pretty cool for me. I really enjoy it.
How's the hamstring?
Doing good. It was just woke up one morning a little tight, and in the trainer's room they did a great job of working on it throughout the entire day, and good just get it knocked out of the way, get it loosened up, and now it feels great and ready to go tonight.
All right, the young crew continues to grow because we're looking at it going, we're going to start seeing a time where you got Sodi, Clark, Butler, throw in Colby Thomas now in the outfield. Infield, you're going to have Muncy, Geloff is finally back, which is great to see. I have to say, I'm a big Geloff fan. Love him. Kurtz at first. Other than Rooker at DH and Langoliers behind the dish, they weren't drafted by the A's. All of these young players drafted by the A's. Have you thought about what that's going to be like?
Oh, yeah. We talk about it all the time, like just guys who got drafted into this organization. This is kind of the only team that they know. And we all get to be here playing, for the same team that drafted us in the big leagues. And, we're all young, so we all get to hang out. We either played against each other, in college or even growing up throughout high school. And it's pretty special to see the young talent that came up to the big leagues, with us and, succeeded. It's pretty awesome to just, see that, the future of this, club's in good hands with all the young guys that we have here. And we're excited to be a part of it. And we're excited to grow as a, team together, and just go out there every day, enjoy it, and play for each other, and, hopefully play this game, with each other for a long time.
Yeah, I know there's been some ups and downs this year, but, you think about it, especially with the young players, at some point, this could be the first time you've ever really faced adversity.
Yeah.
It's the first time you've ever faced losing, but it's important that you guys learn to deal with it, grow, and overcome it, and overcome it as a group. So let's end on this. Just tell us how close you guys are becoming as you're traveling together. Planes, hotels, buses. I mean, this is a group you guys are really starting to have those bonds that become special and become unbreakable.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely important. I think that's one of the main things is that you come to the field every day for X amount of hours, and then you go on the flight for a couple hours, and you're on the road at a hotel, and you kind of spend more time with these guys than you kind of do with your family at home. Like, that's just how the game is, and in order for you to be a good team, you got to have good relationships that you enjoy having off the field, on the field, and just being able to get along with the guys that you share the field with every day. You spend so many hours with them. It's important to build relationships, build friendships that you could take onto the field and just go out there and have fun with each other. And I think that the losing streak earlier in the year is obviously and during the time it sucks, but I think it's definitely something that we get to learn from. When we're veterans down the line, we know how to get out of a funk like that and just go back to the roots and just enjoying the game and having fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, from the time you were drafted to when you're an A-ball to when you're AA, we've been having you on this show. We wanted to follow your journey all the way through because we told you were going to be a star. We knew it from day one that was going to happen, and now going to the All-Star game, I'm so happy for you. It's
Thank
going to
you.
be a lot of fun when you
Thank
walk
you.
into that clubhouse with the best guys in the game, and then you're going to take on the National League, and you're going to represent the Athletics, and you're going to do us proud.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see. So have fun in Atlanta, and congratulations. You
Thank
now
you.
and forever are an all-star.
Thank you so much.
The great Jacob Wilson right here on A's Cast Live. Good stuff, buddy.
Yes.
Be well.
Thank you.
Yeah, unbelievable. Just what an accomplishment. Olivia, thank you. What an unbelievable accomplishment to be voted in. I mean, it's just, as Ken Korach said, the acumen of the modern-day baseball fan where everybody, because let's face it, years ago, we would all go to the ballpark. As kids, we would steal. We wouldn't steal, but the ushers would. Do you even know how it used to go?
What, the All-Star game?
Yeah.
Not
so
since
growing up in San Diego,
it was different for me growing up than for you, I would assume.
We would go to Jack Murphy, and I went to a lot of games. I lived right up the hill, right by San Diego State, and we'd go to a bunch of Padre games. The ushers would give you stacks, and you'd sit there through the whole game, and you'd have to poke the holes.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
And you would just say, Tony Gwynn, Tony Gwynn, Tony Gwynn, Tony Gwynn. It's just over. And whoever your favorite player was, right? So hated the Dodgers, hated the Giants, would always vote Ricky Henderson. I voted Ricky Henderson when he was a Yankee. You always voted Don Mattingly. There's certain stars growing up, right? George Brett. My favorite player all the time was George Brett. So it was always George Brett. Robin Yount. There were certain guys you always voted for.
It was a little different for me growing up because, the Pirates were so bad all the time that we knew we were going to get one All-Star because every team had to have an All-Star. So I was like, what's the point of voting? Because if I vote for Brian Giles, he's already going to the All-Star game anyway.
Brian Giles. Speaking of San Diego.
Jason Bay, too, another San Diego
I played
guy.
high school football and baseball against Brian Giles.
You can make a good case for him to be in the Hall of Fame.
No. There's no chance for him to be in the Hall of Fame. Because he walked.
Because
he walked.
Would you rather have him or Bobby Abreu?
Because he walked. Bobby Abreu. Because he hit. No, that's how it used to be, right? Everybody and attendance really mattered.
Yeah.
Because the more people you had attending your games, you were definitely going to have a better shot at getting in the game every single year. And it took you years, right? So as I said, like George Brett was my guy, or it's Mike Schmidt, or it's Robin Yount. It took years for you to become that guy to everybody vote for you. Jacob Wilson's played in how many games?
Less than a full season, obviously.
I mean,
100 games maybe.
No,
because he got hurt after his first game last year and missed a lot of time.
Okay, when did the All-Star voting first come out this year?
A couple weeks ago, I want to say it was like sometime in
So
mid-June.
in just a couple months, the country was voting for him to be the starter at shortstop.
Yes, absolutely.
When usually it would take a couple of years for you to be that guy.
People are noticing when you're hitting 360 and you're chasing Aaron Judge for the batting title in the American League as a rookie.
Well, I'm thinking right out of the gate, Cal Ripken Jr. Like I'm trying to think of guys like Chris Cal. Everybody knew Cal was going to be great. I mean, he started from day one. I mean, he's Cal Ripken Jr. He didn't get voted in.
Yeah, like if you look at it, like
A-Rod didn't get voted in.
Trout and Harper, they didn't. I don't think they were all stars their first year. I mean, I'd have to do the but like
we're gonna have to do a deep dive on this because it really just
I tried
shows
Googling
you.
it and I kept saying trying to get, and I kept putting MLB rookies to start in the All-Star game and literally didn't bring. I kept saying Jacob Wilson. It just kept bringing up him.
Well, we need voted in, not somebody got hurt and then they
once
filled
we're done
in.
and we're
We
watching. the game,
might be.
I'll look.
We got some channels. We can go. I want that answer because that will tell you really the significance of this, of how special it is, and how special this kid. I think with the Athletics, and I talked to him a little bit before when we were in the commercial break. He wants to be here a long time. Like he wants to be with as they're the young crew, as they're calling themselves. These guys are going to want to be here for a long time, and this is to grow up together inside this organization. This could be something that you start looking around. As we said, you're going to have at least probably 7 going forward. Most nights you're going to have 7 guys in the starting lineup who were drafted. Says a lot about the front office. Says a lot about everybody who's a part of scouting and drafting and developing. So it's going to be a story. That's why I really want to latch onto it now, because if we go through like the process of what happened last year, well, all of a sudden the team really started to win again. That's what everybody is going to. They're going to latch on to this point. Like, look at all the young first-round picks. I mean, obviously Butler wasn't a first round. What round was Butler? 5, 6?
6, I believe.
Geloff was second round. Everybody else is first. No,
Denzel was a fifth rounder. I think.
Fifth rounder out of Northridge.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Colby was what, fourth or fifth round?
He was a second rounder, maybe.
I don't know. All I know is these guys they're all pretty much we don't even do that many rounds anymore. None of these guys are going to be like 16th round.
Third rounder in 2022 out of Mercer University in Georgia.
It's awesome.
So, yeah, and then eventually we'll see Gage Jump, who was a second round pick, who will most likely be here at some point. Tommy Tanks, who they're both playing the Futures game, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's also big deal. You remember how big of a deal it was when Shea Langoliers, we had him on and he was playing in?
He won the MVP, I believe.
Was that at Fenway?
I
think it was at Fenway.
I remember because the next
it was a big deal because I remember we talked with them. It was for your career. I love that for the guys to play in these future games because you have all of baseball and everybody's watching you and it's a huge deal.
Yeah, and then I think the next year Soderstrom played. I remember because he was in it in Seattle. And I remember watching him play in Seattle. So we always have guys in there that we highlight, and then now this year with Gage Jump and Tommy Tanks, Tommy White, that's gonna be great to see. And then obviously you got the draft coming up next weekend, a week from Sunday. So we'll see another guy we're taking in the top 15. I think we have the 11th pick in the draft. So it's great to see what David Forrest and Eric Kubota and everyone's done. That's really refreshing to see for the organization.
All right, programming note for tomorrow, 6:30 on A's Cast, A's Radio Network, and you'll also see it on A's Cast on NBC Sports California. Robert Melvin.
It's time for the Bob Melvin Show?
The Bob Melvin Show will be Bob Melvin will be stopping by tomorrow on set.
I told Korach, I said, we're having Melvin tomorrow for the Bob Melvin Show. He goes, he told me. Melvin's telling everyone he's coming on now.
Well,
spread the word, Bob.
Bob's a good friend. And let me tell you something. Bob's not coming up to sets anywhere else in baseball. He's going to come to this one.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him.
You may be able to get an interview with Bob in his office or in the dugout side. You're not going to get Bob Melvin to come all the way up to a place like that. We can get Bob Melvin to come up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Bob Melvin, he's met so much to so many of our careers here. Going to honor the great Bob Melvin tomorrow. Winningest manager in Oakland A's history.
Correct.
Not winningest manager in A's history. That will always belong to Connie Mack.
Yeah, he only won a couple thousand games, so that's fine.
Mark Kotsay would have to live to how long and win how many games?
Triple his age now.
Because you remember when Bob Melvin broke, you're like, he and Tony La Russa are still so far away.
Yeah,
it's
a
crazy.
long way away, yeah.
But yes, Bob Melvin, the winningest manager in Oakland A's history, will be with us, manager now of the San Francisco Giants. Is it time to go to Mark Kotsay? All right, time now for the Mark Kotsay Show right here on A's Cast. Time now for the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford right here on A's Cast and also NBC Sports California. Kotsay, how are you coming off that road trip?
Doing okay. We had a day off yesterday, so I got to spend some time with family and kind of reboot.
So when you think about, a long trip where you were taking on Detroit, one of the best teams in baseball, they lead their division. At the time when you were taking on the Yankees, they led their division, and right behind them were the Rays. Talk about how your team performed on a very tough East Coast road trip.
Yeah, I thought we were really competitive. It would have been nice to come off that road trip 5-4. We had an opportunity there in Tampa to get that done. Didn't make that happen, but overall, I thought we played good baseball. Some things are turning in the right direction. Our pitching has gotten a little bit better. As we talked about, our defense has gotten a little bit better. So, again, this team continues to fight. They showed that on Wednesday afternoon when we were down by 4. Got the tying run to third base and just couldn't get the big hit.
Yeah, you had to love the way your guys truly fought back. I mean, it just wasn't the time run. You had bases loaded. You had your big guns up there. Just the fight that you still see, especially from the young guys. Talk about how important that is.
Yeah, it's really important. These young guys, not only are they, learning how to play the game and learning how to take the big at-bats. I mean, that was a big at-bat Nick Kurtz took. We've seen him come through in those situations off Hader going deep to win a game in the 10th. And, I think, it was a 3-2 count, and he chased a I think it was a changeup down below the zone, but those are good experiences for him. Like we said, minimal at bats in the minor leagues. I think less than 200. You could look at Jacob Wilson as well, and I know we're going to talk about Jacob here, but
yeah,
these two guys are really performing at a high level for the amount of games that they've played at the big league level.
And when you think about Jacob Wilson, just how amazing. I mean, first of all, to be an A's shortstop voted at the All-Star game the first time since 1975, and Bert Campaneris, and to be the first ever rookie shortstop voted into the All-Star game. Just talk about what that means for this ball club, what it means to him, and your thoughts when you found out about it.
Yeah, no, for the ball club, the organization. I mean, I think this is a high point. Obviously, I think for Jacob, the accomplishment speaks for itself. To be the first, rookie shortstop by the fans voted in, and the first, I think, rookie shortstop for the A's to start an All-Star game. That's pretty impressive, and I think he's earned it. Obviously, the first half that he's had has been amazing. We continued to talk about, is he going to continue to be able to do this? Is he going to continue to be able to get this amount of hits? And he has. He's barreled it, and he's shown a little power, which we were all surprised about. I think he's got 9 home runs on the season so far. So, this accomplishment by Jacob, and I think it's a reflection of the group in itself, with the baseball ops group, with the all the scouts and our scouting department, and the job they did in identifying a player that they felt could translate at the big league level.
We talk all the time about for young players, the moment can be too big. It comes so fast, you may not be ready for it. It has never felt like that, right? Like that, none of this, no matter where you go, what's been thrown at him, nothing's been too big for him.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's got a high level of expectation for himself too, and when he doesn't get a hit, he doesn't understand why he's not getting a hit, So I think overall, I mean, you look at the young man, you look at, his character, and he wants to be great, and you can see that out there.
Yeah, no doubt. Very special, Jacob Wilson. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to change the All-Star game. Like, it's always great to see A's players in the All-Star game, but to see him start is going to be something special. Also,
well, I'm hopeful we have more players in the All-Star game. I think
doubt.
Brent Rooker's a definite candidate to be on that team. The first half. I mean, Cal Raleigh hit another 2 homers today. He's got 35, but I mean, hey, Shea Langley-Ayers is not, a sleeper in that category as well. I mean, he's had a pretty darn good first half for us as well.
Yeah, somebody asked me while you guys were gone, while we were doing some TV, they asked, who do I think is the MVP of the first half of the season? And I went, well, I think no doubt Brent Rooker. So it is really hard, and I'm sure you look back at one of your years. This was my best year. It's a career year. It is hard to follow up a career year with another good year, and you get a contract extension, and you're the leader in the clubhouse. Obviously, there was some struggles in May. He was the guy standing up. He was the leader. There's a lot that goes to Brent Rooker other than just numbers that I would say he would be your first half MVP. But I agree with you. I think there's no question he should be an all-star.
No, and you stated all the facts as to why. And again, you're right. I mean, you're putting season after season together as Rook has. I mean, 23, he was our all-star. 24, he darn should have been on the all-star team, and now he's making another case for it. With his numbers, but more than the numbers, like you talked about, it's the intangibles that he's shown in the clubhouse, emerging as the leader and a guy that we can count on to be in that lineup and write his name in the 2, 3, or the 4, whichever one you choose.
All right. Great to see that Zach Geloff is back. We've been waiting for Zach because we know how much he means to this organization. If he gets right, gets healthy, and gets going again, just another super dynamic young athlete for you to write in the lineup every day.
Yeah, I mean, tonight's lineup is you look at that lineup and you say, okay, these are what we were talking about. These are the players, this group that you believe can move forward, that can, really do something special. And Zach's a part of that group. I think that's, bringing Zach back off of the rehab, is important to the group. And, coming off last season, I know Zach still, has to make adjustments. He has some things to improve on, as does everyone in the group. But for Zach, we saw a player for 4 months really play at a peak level in 23. And then in 24, we saw a player grind through a season and yet still have some impact and still have some production. So it's a big year for Zach. And I think, I think he's going to step up and answer the bell.
When you start looking at coming up here in left field with Soderstrom, Denzel Clark in center, and Butler and right, and then you got Kurtz at first, and you got Geloff at second, and Jacob Wilson at short, Max Muncy at third. I mean, other than your DH Rooker and Shea Langoliers behind the dish, everybody's a guy that's a high draft pick, someone that's developed and drafted. I know what it means for you, but you're always talking to the front office. What would that mean for them when you're writing up that kind of lineup?
Yeah, no, I think they should be excited about it. They get this opportunity to kind of, step on the stage and go perform. And you left Colby Thomas out of that group as well, who, I think is another player that can contribute to this group, offensively. So, there's the pieces that 2 years ago in 23, the start of the season, you thought, okay, let's write these names down and let's follow their progress and let's keep checking in on them when they're in AA, when they're in AAA. And now tonight you're going to see them as a group go out and take the field against their rival, against the Giants.
I wish you had 4 outfielders. Because I want to see Colby play every day, right? And I want to see Denzel play every day. And I want Tyler to continue to grow. And we know what Lawrence Butler means to this organization. How do you make 4 outfielders work every night?
Yeah, you can't. And you try to look at the lineup, going forward, and you want to make sure you continue to give guys rest, continue to make sure they're healthy, and finish out the season. But it is tough, and that's a good thing. It's great to have a lot of good players.
4th of July weekend, it's going to be a lot of fun. The Giants are going to be here. It's going to be very spirited. These days, what do you remember back as a player? What do you these special holiday games? What did they mean to you?
Well, the holiday itself means, it's 4th of July. It's probably, to me, it's my funnest holiday there is in the year, really. These games are going to be great. It's going to be a lot, like you said. I love the word spirited. That was good, Towny. It's
spirited.
Spirited is well said.
That's a nice way to say it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What is the one thing at your 4th of July cookout that you have to make it the legit barbecue at the Kotsay family?
I would say tri-tip. That's like key. You got to have good tri-tip. I mean, or else it's just not it. I get the hamburgers and the hot dogs. I mean, don't get me wrong. And you got to have an ice cold beer.
See, that is the best reaction. I've gotten all this weird stuff from our staff today. That's the best reaction that I've gotten. Tri-tip, medium rare with a beer. Can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
All right, Skip.
All right.
Appreciate you stopping by. A's Cast Live, and good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you later in the week.
Sounds good. Thanks.
The Mark Kotsay Show brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
This has been a presentation of The Athletics.